Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call
Under the table type of earthquake.
Well,
Or
by the time we all recognized what's going on, it was over. But I'm in a room with like 60 and 70-year-old women who were like totally freaked out that the earth had just moved under their seat, you know? And I'm like, sorry, like when I share, you just never know. But it was really crazy. I was like, I told the people last night, like, listen, last time I spoke, there was an earthquake. So do what you got to do to prepare yourself.
I'd love for you to expand on this whiteout because I've shared this, I've passed it on to people, but I don't know if the listeners actually know what the whiteout is.
That's a good point. So when, we used to drink, we'd black out, right? We wouldn't remember what happened. I started sharing in meetings and I realized that I would go sit down after sharing and have no recollection of what I had shared to the people I was speaking to. And because it was unspiritual in nature, I decided to start calling it my whiteouts because it felt like a higher self, a higher power, something came over and used me as a channel. And I sat down and Pete, that's kind of the thing when people say, oh, when you shared about this, and I'm like, wait, what did I share about that? It does feel like a whiteout. And I do go in and hit my knees beforehand. And I used to say like, God, let me say something helpful. And then I would say, God, just use me as a channel. And now I just go, hey, I'm going to speak, do what you got to do.
I love this so much. And thanks for explaining that because I remember when you told me this and it literally was like, what is that emoji? Like mind blown emoji, because it was like, oh yeah, I was total blackout, gray out, brown out drinker. And it's like, yes, and I remember reaching out to you after, I don't know, I think I had like 16 years and I was speaking. And I called and I was like, I'm not an effing circuit speaker. And I hate what comes out of my mouth because it's become rote at this point for me. I know my story. I know when to take a sip of my coffee or water or whatever because that's the laugh, and it just wasn't heart-centered at that point. It just was like I wasn't in touch with my story. I wasn't in it, if that makes sense. Absolutely. And I remember you saying, like, go to the bathroom, say your prayer. You gave me your prayer and I've been using it since, and I love that you've updated it because I, of course, am just like, no, this is the prayer. Like, no updates. Oh, wait, she updated it. Wait, I didn't get that memo.
You're right. I should really send you a fax from the bathroom.
Yes. Yeah. Alert. We're updating. Just remember that asterisk subject to change. Like, here it is, Sam.
Oh, my God.
But what I love what you just said about your updated prayer is it's, I read like Return to Love like last year, and I literally went through with the purpose of pulling all of Marianne's prayers from it. And there's one that talks about, it's called Purify My Perception. And the story is biblical in the sense of Jesus told the disciples to go out, preach the gospel. The disciples said, what do we say? And basically Jesus said, I'll let you know when you get there, and it's this place of like, I need to continue to enhance and enlarge my connection to Holy Spirit is what it refers to in this prayer. And that, from this place within and only from this place within will I have the words and the silence to share.
That's so beautiful. And I'm so glad you brought that up because that's something I do with sponsees is they'll have something going on with a boss, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll come to me and they'll tell me all the things that happen and what they have to say, what are they going to say or how they want to do God's will, right? Mm-hmm. So we say like the third step prayer, we turn it over and then immediately is followed up with, so what do I say to them on Monday? And what if this happens? And what if that happens? And I'm like, wait, we just said God's will. How can we plan 48 hours in advance and still be in God's will?
Mm. This is the conundrum that I forever face, right? It's I look for the safety and I think that if I could just plan appropriately, the lights, the whatever, the script as it were, then I won't have to feel anything. And for me, like this spiritual practice has really been about how can I be here now, and be here, legit be here with my brain and body, and all of my feelings, which is still tends to be that pattern of thinking is so ingrained in me.
Yeah. Yeah, this makes me want to cry. And it goes with the authentic topic because I was asked to speak at a meeting on Thursday and Wednesday, and it was at someone's house and it was gated and it was like a real she, private, the whole shamil and shamazel, right?
Yeah.
And as much as I tried to let go of my attachment to the results of me sharing in this environment of this big, beautiful home in the backyard with the pool and the landscaping, I was attached to the outcome, right? I was attached to what everyone there thought about me. And then from that one, somebody asked me to speak on a Friday. And that Friday was this women's meeting. It was behind a church. I was running late. I walk in. I had zero attachment and it was completely authentic. And then last night, it's a Saturday night at a bigger room. As much as I tried to let go, I still had an attachment. The one where I just free-falled, I shone so brightly. It was, like I said, embarrassing. And I find that that's what it is when, like, there's so much fear of, like, if I just let go and really let this higher self, this higher power take the wheel, what's going to happen? And what I find is it is so bright beyond our dreams. And yet we're like, I'm scared you can't do it right. I got this. I'll do 80%, you do 20. I'll do 20, you do 80. But it's the
I
free
love that
fall.
negotiation. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have to say it definitely is a practice. I spoke 3 times this week, 2 of which, like, they're stuck with me, these people. I literally, I was like, and my ego is like, I'm taking attendance next week, to see who returned and who brought their friend and loved one, how impactful am I? What are the numbers of engagement?
What's the KPI? What's the KPI?
Yeah, legit. I just like have to chuckle at myself because that's how I think, right? Like that's, my worth. Here we go. Here's my worth. And what I noticed in one of the commitments where I won't be returning next week, it's a one-off, no recurring role, is that there was a nervousness initially. I did the bathroom thing before, and then it was full whiteout, you know what I mean? And I couldn't even, and they all were whiteout, but there was the one where I'm not a recurring role, there was a full release where I was fully let go, which is, do we have a term? Is there a mystified term for this? Like, other than the whiteout is, I don't know, maybe it's pure whiteout. I don't know, but it's legit. Like I was just a light almost, I was literally the channel. And there was nothing in my brain. In fact, there was like long pauses. Now that that's what I do remember, where you could hear a pin drop. And I wasn't like, oh God, nothing's coming out. It was just like, I was just there, like eye contact, like,
Right. Yeah, that is it. Like, and just to show, it's like, I didn't have it on Wednesday. I did get it on Friday. I didn't have it again on Saturday, right? Like there's no there. Even if I do achieve, like you're talking about, the perfect whiteout where I can have the pause and be comfortable knowing that what's supposed to come is going to come. I don't have to be nervous or panic or rush or anything. And even when I do get there, it doesn't stay.
Yeah, I want it forever. That's just...
Yeah, hell yeah, that's just good shit. I don't know if everybody could handle it. You and I both just sitting there all in whiteout. Everybody'd be like, oh.
You can lift your jaws off the floor. No. So we're at our final 5. I have you have a question. Do you have a question?
No, go ahead. And now, if you've got one, let's bring it. That's great.
So this is the conundrum.
Okay.
So I go to the commitment. I'm there to be of maximum use. I pray. I align myself with higher power, higher self, inner guide. And then there's like a cutie or two in the room. And then it becomes automatic. Like there's a subtle shift of like, oh my God, he's there at 9:00. Okay. Is that my good side? You know what I mean? I don't know if you've experienced this.
Oh my God. Well, I think what you just said. Go ahead. Get to the question.
Any tips, tricks, tools, any experience, any experience.
I got you. And I could not be more thrilled that you brought this up, because when we talk about authentic, I embarrassingly have to say what the thought is in my mind every time I go to speak at one of these things where it's like, it's the gated home about, it's like, where's, wealthy daddy that's going to fall in love with me and hear my story and be like, oh my God, and follow me home and stalk me, because that is love for Misty. And which one is he? And looking around and sizing everyone up. And yeah, that's so embarrassing to admit, Sam. But that's what happens. And then the ones that I know for sure where that's the case, I completely ignore them and won't make eye contact with them and just make sure I stay grounded and stay in my body. But afterwards, when people start cross-talking about what I said, it's like the one that I thought was like the it man will start sharing, and I'm like, oh, like he's gay, or oh, he's that, or oh, that one very married, or that one, like he does not have the cool demeanor that I was putting on him. Like none of it matches up. And if I can remember that when I'm sharing, and again, last night I was speaking at the Marina Center, so that didn't happen at all.
Yes.
If you know, you know. But yeah, so that's it. I love that you brought that up. Talk about authentic. That's amazing. How about you?
I love this reminder that the split screen of reality versus the fantasy, or my projection of what I think, versus the actual legit thing that's there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a great reminder. I think what's helped me is more like just feeling my feet is something that I actually discuss. One of my sponsees who has a lot of spiritual practice in other disciplines and whatever. I remember when we first started working together, they were like, oh yeah, like feel my feet. And I was like, oh yeah, yes, let me try this,
Grounded.
Yeah, grounded, like to actually be present. And I like that my feet are the polar opposite end of my brain. So that's something when I remember, is like to feel my toes and my feet, and that thing when I remember, because that narrative about these men or Matt, like there's one or two, where I'm like, and then, oh, noted, he left early. Okay. Like whatever.
And
noted. Yeah. He legit walked out of the, like, he's not coming back, you know.
Exit stage left.
Which happened, you know, where I was like, oh, I was expecting like a, you know, procession where everyone's gonna come thank me, you know, whatever. I was like, no, he's not him.
Wait, did he go to call his sponsor because he's so in love with me?
Maybe, I don't know. I have a story that he like went because he's meeting his fiance for dinner. It's their date night or something. You know what I mean? It's, of course, it's the one I selected leaves early, you know, before the prayer, and you know, before we really leave the meeting.
It always helps with those abandonment issues, that one.
Yeah. Without a doubt. I'm so grateful for this topic, and you always touch my heart
so much. I love you so much. All right, y'all. That's it. Y'all go be authentic, and if you need to, bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call your.
Send us an email with comments, questions, or concerns, bcysponsor@gmail.com.
Don't forget to rate 5 stars.